Good evening and welcome to Newsish, the only show where you see college students trying to make sense of the world, one APA-cited poop joke at a time. I'm your host, Dylan Hancock, and this suit is brought to you by the Salvation Army. Tonight on Newsish, California jealous of Flint's water? I'll give you a hint. No. Also, U.S. history textbooks have been improving America since the beginning of time. And according to U.S. textbooks, that was 1776. And lastly, who the hell am I and am I wearing any pants? Let's find out tonight on Newsish. This is especially exciting because this is our pilot episode. It's kind of like a prototype for a product. For example, if our show was the internet, this episode would be the internet that your dad used to watch porn. Or if this was dodgeball, it would be the version where we use human heads and the loser didn't get to see their family. To get an idea of what this show is trying to do, it's kind of like the Daily Show. If the Daily Show was run by about 7 20-year-olds who get all their news off Reddit and know as much about politics as your grandmother knows about Meek Mill. Well, bring you the top news stories from Michigan, the world, wherever. We'll crack jokes, make a couple puns, and maybe one day get canceled by the university, but we can only dream. So hold on to your amazing blue britches because we've got a great show for you tonight. Flint, Michigan, making Detroit look better since the invention of firearms. Much like actual Flint, it's only brought up when on the topic of survival, but that's not what I'm here to talk about. As if you didn't have another reason to visit the great trigger finger of America's mitten, this just happened. On October 1st, Flint officials declared a public health emergency over the city's water due to extraneous chemicals harming the Flint residents. Last March, Flint decided to break its 50-year relationship with the Detroit Water and Sewage Department in order to partner with Karen Gandhi Water Authority, who is constructing a $250 million pipeline to Lake Huron. Unfortunately, this project won't be completed until 2016. So in the meantime, the state of Michigan gave the authority to Flint to process water from the Flint River. Yeah, the Flint River. For over the past 40 years, volunteers have been busily removing automobile tires, refrigerators, and other stuff, dead bodies, into the river during the past century. Nothing wrong with a couple good years, but the tides have shifted as the city of Flint has started to receive a heavy influx of complaints, such as resident Melissa Mays, who said after Flint changed its water source of its drinking water, she noticed a change of the water's color and odor. She started having rashes and clumps of her hair fell out. That's like breaking up with your loyal long-term girlfriend over 50 years in order to save money to date a streetwalker who smells like moldy pennies and gives you rashes where your hair used to be. I'll take the former. On the City of Flint's website, they report that new water sources were subjected to extensive research and in-depth engineering studies, ultimately concluding that the Flint River presented a safe and financially responsible alternative water source. Except it's not. According to the National Science Journal, the Flint River is 3.5 times more corrosive than the Detroit River. And that's with anti-corrosive material. And without it, it's 8.6 times more corrosive than the Detroit River, which is already struggling with water quality. This isn't a recent revelation. Residents have been complaining about the water for over a year, that the water wasn't right. And the state repeatedly told them that water was safe within acceptable lead levels. Acceptable lead levels? That's like going to a restaurant complaining about your clam chowder and the waiter says, "Don't worry, sir, there's an acceptable amount of semen in your clam chowder." What are you talking about? The point is it's not supposed to be there. Send it back, I'm not paying for it. And they aren't. The unpaid Flint water bills have stacked up to a whopping $500,000 in deficit for the Flint budget, giving Flint all the more reason to take the cheapest solution, which very well may be no solution at all. And it's not just lead. The water's literally corroding pipes inside people's homes and carrying harmful chemicals such as copper, chlorine, fluoride, into the drinking water. It's like if you were to move away from home and then away from all your home-cooked meals, and now you save money by eating nickels and out of the garbage and drinking water out of your neighbor's pool. Many Flint residents are stressing about these felt effects of this water, which has noticeably concerning symptoms such as loss of appetite, hearing loss, irritability, and developmental delay, which can only bring us to the conclusion that the Flint water is turning everyone into deaf and delirious grandfathers. What did you say? I don't want meatloaf. Who's this wizard on the television? We'll be right back with senior municipal correspondent Alex Rawlick.
Lead. It's in our bullets, our paint, and now our mouths. A water advisory only means that the lead is too much fun. At least we have water. Suck it, California. Such a tranquil place. Pure Flint. Pure Michigan. Come drink with us.
Hello, Alex Rawlick, our senior municipal water correspondent. What do you have for us today, Alex?
Well, Dylan, I've been doing some investigation in Flint over the past few days, and I've brought with me a sample of the water you've been speaking of and a glass of beautiful Ann Arbor drinking water from outside.
Well, let's see it.
I'll let you guess which one is which.
Well, Alex, that looks like a cup full of nickels.
No, it's just some extra seasoning. After a few refreshing glasses of this Flint water, you'll find that the Ann Arbor water misses a certain grandparent silverware type quality.
Right, so after you get over the initial taste, what other effects are the water having on people?
Well, theoretically, the lead in the water is supposed to make you stupid, but a homeless man in Flint told me that the water will turn me into Iron Man.
Well, it wouldn't be Iron Man.
Lead man, but
I think you're missing the point here. But,
Iron Skin, Iron Man, the same difference.
I really think you're missing the point here. Is there anything, Flint residents are saying they're experiencing symptoms such as hearing loss, delayed developmental abilities, irritability, even hair loss. Are there any symptoms that you think would be attributing to these that maybe don't concern the water? Have you been feeling any of these effects?
Well, Dylan, my reaction time is phenomenal. I don't know why you're speaking so softly. I'm not sure what irritable means, and most of all, my hair is phenomenal.
I didn't say your hair didn't look good. I mean, you seem kind of irritable, and that is one of the...
I don't know what that means, and I don't know why you're talking so quiet. As a news anchor, I feel like you should be speaking at a level so the cameras can pick you up.
Listen, Alex, I'm talking as loud as I normally do. You seem a little different after drinking this water. Is there something in the water that's attributing to this?
There's nothing in the water.
You seem a little sick.
I'm fine. I'm fine. Just
senior municipal correspondent Alex Rawlick, everybody. We'll be back right after this commercial. He's gonna get a glass of Gatorade.
It's time to wake up with Wolf.
It's time to wake up with Wolf.
Ready for mic check? Ready? Take one.
And welcome to Wake Up with Wolf at 11 a.m., the 8 a.m. of college life.
U.S. history, the only subject in school that says, "Fuck the future. The future is the unwritten past and whatever we say it is." History is a very important subject. It teaches you about critical moments in our past that shaped our country and our people. It's important to know the events that laid the foundation for this great land of liberty and justice for all. Except the time we came, we wiped out all those people that were already here before we knew it, and now we name sports teams after them. Or the time we brought a bunch of people over from Africa so we can make movies about them starring Jamie Foxx and Leonardo DiCaprio. But we don't talk about those things. We should. Good, bad, moral, immoral, the history of our country is important because it prevents us from making similar mistakes in the future. The children of certain southern states, Texas, are being fed information with those little American tidbits being left out. Much like the pictures you upload to Facebook where you don't give a shit about what your friends look like, the only thing that matters is that you looked amazing. We all know that there are dozens of pictures of you from that night where your eyes are half open, you look like you just walked out of a hot box, but you know what? Those pictures matter. They didn't paint George Washington putting his walrus teeth in, but they should have. American acceptance is not one of our best traits. In Texas, major textbook publishers are being paid to omit words and concepts such as the KKK, Jim Crow laws, slavery, and Thomas Jefferson. That's right. The Texas educational system would rather leave out the author of the Declaration of Independence than suffer the discomfort of explaining to some fourth grade kids that Jesus didn't ride across the Delaware River with George Washington to defeat the Moon Nazis. This is absurd, and you can't just leave out one of the most influential people in our country's history. It's like changing the name of Ben and Jerry's to just Jerry's because Ben had a bender with some Japanese women around the time of World War II and tried to name his ice cream after his experience. We wouldn't have Caramel Sutra, anybody? This brings me to our segment, Rewriting History with Newsish. Texas can rewrite history, so why can't we? We'll take sentences written in history books and we'll make them a little bit better with a little bit of wordsmithery. Jim Crow laws, segregated the Deep South. Look up in the Newsish textbook. It says Jim Crow laws diversified drinking fountains in the South. Often slaves would have disagreements with their owners, which would often result in rebellions and maybe unfair treatment. We looked that up in the Newsish textbook. It says Texas workers had a problem with upper management. Lastly, the South heavily depended on cash crops such as cotton and tobacco for their money, which were mediated by slave labor. Or we looked that up in the Newsish textbook, and it says South was hella good at farming, yo. Schools who choose to omit crucial parts of American history deny children the right to understand the hardships and moral ambiguity that come with a developing nation. It's not all General Lee and Creedence Clearwater Revival. There are times we have to look back and realize that some of the things could have been achieved differently. Kind of like looking back at high school and realizing, wow, I could have spent a little less time being obnoxious with American Eagle attire. Why didn't anyone punch me in the face? Or looking back at your freshman years and saying, wow, I wish I hadn't uploaded so many junk pictures of myself. Why didn't anybody punch me in the face? Good or bad, boring or super boring, history is important, and the curation of it is essential to our country's future. Just what happens, just whatever happens, leave Donald Trump out of it. That's been our show. Thank you for tuning in. Next time we talk dining hall employees. Are they working for the Illuminati? We'll find out. Thank you for tuning in. That's our show.